Hello everybody, thanks for tuning into the Help Center. I'll be recording this video primarily on how to use the search feature of this data management page. I'm on the home page right now, and as you can see, I'm signed into the test user. Um, if you are not signed in, these buttons will prompt you to sign in. They won't really let you do anything. You should see a Rustigate email in the top right. If not, it'll say log in. You can click that to log in. So let's get started. If I navigate to the search page, there's a couple different versions. You'll see this little toggle, and it'll say using DSL search or using AI search. It will always default to the AI search. I highly recommend, I cannot emphasize this enough, just using the AI search. It'll allow you to type in more natural language, which I'll kind of show what that looks like, rather than having to use a very specific format that it needs to be exact. The DSL search, which stands for domain specific language, it's there just in case something happened to OpenAI, which is the AI that our software connects to accomplish the search. But if something happened to them, then you could still use the DSL search to search your data. But as long as the AI is working, I highly recommend that you just use that. So there's a few requirements to the search. You must include a group, or sometimes we'll call it a subcategory. You must include a group, and if you want something more specific, you need to include the field that you're going to search through, and then some kind of operator is for its text. It might be is or like, or if it's you're trying to look for only numbers greater than something or equal to or stuff like that. Those are the minimum requirements. In general, you can use natural language though. So I'll give some examples. So first, if we know we want to look at all of our cows, we can go cows, and it's going to pull up all the data for cows. This is obviously just some dummy data that we have for testing purposes. But you can also, if you want to use more of this natural language fields, you can ask it to say, show me all of the data for cows. And it's going to pull up nearly the same results. Every time you have a successful query, it's going to show you the DSL query. So as you learn kind of what these should look like, you might be able to kind of develop like an idea of whether the query was successful or not without having to look through every single row. But we can do a little bit more specific things. We can say, show me all the data for cows, where the weaning weight is greater than or equal to 500. And it should take that, and you can see it produced a new query, new DSL query, and it's only looking at the rows that fit that requirement. So that's essentially the most you can use the search for. You can search through multiple fields if you want, and you can give like ands and ands and ands, but then you start getting into a little bit of variability with the AI. It's going to be a little less consistent. But in general, using one extra search works really well. So that's an example of numbers, but you can also search based on text. So we mentioned that there's these things called enums or drop-downs, which is what H and S are, but these are always going to be stored as text in general. So you can say, show me all the cows that have a sex of H. And it's going to change my search and show me only ones that fit that requirement. So beyond that, we can use these little filters. So you can filter your view here. I'm going to pull up all of the data so that way we can see a little bit more. So you can alter your views here. You can alter it by what fields you want to see. So maybe you don't want to see the harvest weight, you don't want to focus on that, you want to focus on other things, you can do that. For those that worked with us a little bit on this project, you know that each one of these fields, sex, weaning weight, yearly weight, they all have dates associated with them. So every single entry for every single field contains a date. That's important because some of these are going to be entered at different times, and you probably want to see some sort of growth difference, which is why you can collect these dates for different times. Your harvest weight, the date selected for or entered for this in the real world would likely be different than the weaning weight or sex. Sex is going to be the date that the cow was probably created. So you can customize your view here using this. Dates will default as not there, and you can select which ones you want to see. So I can select all of them if I want, and it's going to show the date for each row. Once you show the date, each one has a little filter option, and you can filter by one of these dates if you'd like. Since sex is probably a created date, you guys will probably have tags too, and tags will also probably be a created date because they probably shouldn't change. You can do filter by that. So if I want to see only, I want to see only cows that were entered after, let's say after June 1st. I can simplify that search and only see cows that were entered after June 1st. I can come back in, I can click clear, and it will clear my entry. Now I can see everything again. So you can do that for each field. The last thing with the search is the export. This export's a really cool feature because it will download a CSV, and a CSV will, on most computers, if you double click it, it will open it directly into Excel, which my understanding is that's what you guys often use. I'm sure most platforms that allow you to look at data in a spreadsheet will let you upload a CSV and it will automatically pull it up. So what's cool is you can customize your view here, and exactly what you see in this search is what you can export. If you only want to export yearly weight, you can turn everything off, and you can see yearly weight with the date. And now you're able to look at every year every cow that you have and the yearly weight that they had, and maybe you want to customize that by you want to see everything that started after January 1st, 2025. So now you're only going to see cows from 2025 in their yearly weights, and now you can compare these. So that's a really cool feature on how you can limit your view here. And that pretty much sums up the search. All you have to do to export is click the button and it will automatically do it for you. And that's the search. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you have a great day and enjoy using the platform. Thanks.